Well, we are going to get started. And we are going to start in a seated position today. So whatever you've got to sit on, set yourself up. I've got a blanket folded up. I'm going to mute you guys so that you don't have to worry about background noise. There we go. You'll find the right amount of fold in your blanket or towel that you've got a little bit of a lift off the floor. And then scoot those sit bones just to the edge. And whatever feels okay with the legs. And know that anytime we start or are in a seated position in this class, you're more than welcome to be in a chair. So if that option sounds good to any of you, you can always be in a chair for seated yoga. So getting those sit bones right to the edge of your blanket so that you can create that neutral hip and that neutral pelvis, and sit nice and tall to the crown of the head. You want to find a position where you feel rooted and grounded through the bottom half, but also feel light and buoyant through the top half. So it doesn't feel like a struggle to sit up nice and tall. It doesn't feel like you have to use too much energy to have that good posture. And once you've aligned yourself and found that grounded sensation through the bottom half and that nice buoyant sensation through the top half, close down your eyes. And just breathe for a moment. Be in your space. You take your internal gaze to right between your eyebrows. And you can anchor your mind's eye to help that presence, to help yourself stay on the mat, and really, in essence, creating your space for your practice. Taking the time in the beginning of your practice to anchor down, turn your focus a little bit more inward, and become more and more aware of the thinking brain when it starts to take over. So just starting that awareness. The more we can benefit from our practice on the mat. So let go of your morning so far and detach from the rest of your afternoon. Allow yourself to be here, be in the now. You take your hands and just gently rub up and down on your thighs. And just feel the texture underneath your hands. Feel the heat that begins to build. Just feel the connection of hand and thigh. And then let it come to stillness, hands just at a comfortable resting position. And then really tune into that lack of movement now, the settling, the stillness. Perhaps the tingling in the hands after stopping the movement. And maybe that lingering warmth in the palm of the hand. Now become acutely aware of your breath. Don't change anything yet. Just notice, is it shallow? Is it fast or slow? Just notice what your breath is doing. And then slowly, using about 5 breaths, just begin to create a more full breath. Don't go right into it. Really create the discipline to just a little bit more air in each time. And that investigation of the bottom of the lungs, getting closer to that each time. Not going right to the end of your lung capacity right away. Finding that subtle change in your breath to become more full, more even, just overall more mindful. We're going to move through 4-part breaths together. When we breathe in for the count of 4, we pause at the top. We exhale, count of 4. We pause at the bottom with an empty lung. Let's prepare by expelling all of your air out, really finding the depth in the bottom of your lungs, finding that belly pulling in, push all the air out. Inhale through your nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause here with a full lung. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the bottom, empty lung. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue 3 more rounds on your own count, adjusting the count as needed. After your 3rd round, return to sort of lose the count, but continue to really cultivate that nice even breath. Maybe even continuing with that little slight pause at the top and the bottom. Just creating a nice, natural, full rhythm of your breath. Blink open your eyes. Take in the light. Inhale. Arms rise up. Look up. Take it slow. Watch your hands connect. Exhale. Heart center. Matching the movement, inhale, with your breath capacity all the way to the top, just like our 4-part breath. Exhale. Continue. Allowing the breath and body to move together. Two more. Last one here. Let your hands return to your knees. Exhale, cat. And again, take your range of motion slowly. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. So finding that rounding of the back, tucking of the tail and chin. Inhale, cow. Finding that pushing out of the belly, the broadening of the chest, and the sit bones push back. Good. Find your rhythm, exhaling and inhaling through your cat-cow, and slowly finding your end range of motion. Finding that threshold that feels really supportive, but also feels like you're getting a stretch through the parts you need the stretch. Let's take one more of each. And then settling on a neutral spine. Release your right hand to the mat next to your hip, or slide your forearm behind you in your small of your back. So you can choose where your comfort level is there. Exhale, left ear, left shoulder. Pausing here. Now I want you to try not to lean, so we're not creating any kind of C shape with our spine. We're still really upright with our spine. We're just working that ear tilt. And as we tilt our ear, think about actively pushing that right shoulder away from the right ear. A nice deep breath here, just to letting it open up before we create more dynamic movement. All right, inhale, back up to straight. Exhale, tilt. Inhale to straight. Exhale, tilt, and pull that right shoulder away gently. Inhale, one more. Exhale. Inhale. This time we turn left, pause here. And so check in with your posture. Just, making sure that you've got that nice tall spine. Your belly is toned. It doesn't need to be braced. Just pulled in a little bit to help support you. And then as you turn left, try not to take your right shoulder with you. So actively pull that right shoulder back in space as you turn and look left. Remember, there's no twisting. We want to keep our chest square right to the front of us. Breathing into this a little bit, and perhaps finding more range of motion as you breathe, maybe not. Next, inhale, turn to center, and then exhale, turn left. Keep going. Inhale, exhale. One more. Inhale. Inhale to center, release the hand, back to the knee, exhale, cat. Inhale, cow, one more. Exhale. Inhale. And then finding a neutral spine, left hand to the mat, or slide up in the small of your back, sitting up nice and tall, either way. And then exhale, right ear to right shoulder. Pausing here. And again, really try not to lean into this. It's still nice, tall spine. We're just working on that right ear to the right shoulder. And then that left shoulder, very gently pull it away, right? And don't rush into that. Take it nice and slow. Breathing here for a couple nice deep breaths. See if we can let go a little bit more. Next inhale, come up to straighten. Exhale, tilt. Inhale. Exhale, making sure that left shoulder pulls down gently. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to straighten. This time, exhale, turn. Pausing. Making sure we're not twisting. It's just our neck rotation. We all have different range of motion on our necks, so just be gentle here. You don't want to do any real cranking. Use your breath to maybe slowly get a little bit more out of the neck rotation. And then again, gently pulling that left shoulder back in space so it doesn't come with you as you turn. Next inhale, turn to the front. Exhale, turn over the right shoulder. Inhale. Exhale as you turn, thinking about that left shoulder pulling back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, straighten, release that left hand wherever it is back to the knee. Exhale, cat. more. Exhale. Inhale. All right, next inhale, sweep the arms up. Right hand comes to the mat next to you. Exhale, side bend. So here we are going for more of a C-shaped curve through the spine. You want to keep the chest rotated more up than down. I want you to actively ground that left sit bone. And then we're just really working on the rib cage separating from the hip. Both shoulders, pull them down the back. And then know that you can take that right hand out as a kickstand as you start to lean further. Inhale yourself back up to center. Switch sides, kind of like a side cartwheel. Exhale, lean over to the left. So again, chest is more up than down. Ground that right sit bone. Working on that rib cage separation from the hip. And then shoulders down the back. So release those shoulders. They tend to want to come up here. So just kind of combat that a little bit. That left hand inching out if you can get further. And we're going to make this more dynamic. Inhale yourself up all the way, cartwheeling to the other side. Exhale, find your side, leaning bend. Inhale, back up through center, cartwheel to the other side. We're going to do that one more time each side. Use your breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale up. Look up. Watch your hands connect. Exhale down through heart center. Inhale up again. And then bring your right hand behind your right hip. Exhale as you twist and bring the left hand to the outside of the right knee. So a seated twist here. Sitting firmly through both sit bones, sit tall. So you want to maintain that neutral pelvis so that you have the ability to sit tall. And then twist from the chest and the belly button. And be really mindful about pushing and cranking too much onto that right knee to make the twist happen. Really just find the range of motion naturally that you can hold with a little bit of engagement. And not use that hand. So a little test you can do is lift that left hand and see if you come out of your twist. If you come out of your twist a lot, then you're probably using too much pressure on that left hand. So just kind of a little food for thought there. Pull the shoulders down the back. Place the twist if you wish, if it's feeling okay on the neck, all the way over the right shoulder. Working on that range of motion in the neck again. All right, let's push all of our air out of our lungs. So bottom of your breath. Inhale, come up, unwind. And then exhale, find the twist on the other side. So both hands are going to come down, left hand's going to be behind the hip, right hand's going to come to the outside of the left knee. Sitting tall, so all those things, right? Dial it in. Sitting tall, not cranking on your right hand on your left knee, but using your musculature and just the natural range of motion in your spine to twist. Pull the shoulders down the back. Those sit bones, trying to anchor them equally. That right sit bone will want to kind of pop up a little bit. So just creating that intention of weighting the right sit bone a little bit more. And then completing the twist by looking over the left shoulder, again, working on that neck range of motion. Keep the belly pulled in, spine long, shoulders down, gaze back. One more breath. Now, just like we did with the side to side, we're going to kind of create sort of a dynamic twist. So let's meet at the bottom of your exhale. Push all your air out, maybe get a little more twist. And then inhale, both arms up. Exhale, twist to the right. Right hand comes behind. Left hand comes across. Find the twist. Inhale, unwind, arms up. Exhale, twist left. We're going to do that one more time. So your goal is to kind of find that motion of inhale, twist, setting it up, dialing it in, all on your exhale, and then inhale, you unwind with intention and move to the other side. As you inhale out of that left side, arms up, watch them connect. Exhale down through heart center. Inhale, arms up. Right arm comes underneath left. You're gonna wrap them up. So eagle arms, right? Palms together, back of the hands together, or hands on shoulders. Okay, all those options are great options. You figure out what's right for you. Okay, recommit to that nice tall spine, sitting down through those sit bones. Pull the belly in a little bit and create some lift through the elbows. If you've got your hands together, you'll be gazing right through your forearms. If you've got your hands on your shoulders, find a gazing point out in front of you. And then squeeze the shoulder blades just a little bit. Make sure those shoulders are pulled down the back. Good. Next inhale, you're gonna unwind, sweep up, and then exhale, left hand underneath, find eagle arms, any variation that's gonna work for you, and settle in here. So sit tall, belly in, create lift through the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades just a little bit, and be mindful of the shoulders not rising up. On your next inhale, slowly unwind, sweep the arms up, watch them connect, and then exhale down through heart center. Pausing here with your hands in heart center. Lift your elbows, exhale, push your palms into each other, pull the belly in and shoulders down. Inhale, release. Exhale, press those palms together, release the skull of the head. Inhale, release. Twice more. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Good. Release the hands. And then you're going to, if you're in a cross position, uncross your legs. That might kind of feel good. We've been in that seated position for a little while. Make sure your feet are flat on the ground and you've got as wide of a stance, and it's just bending your knees, whatever makes sense for you. Bring your hands back behind you. Now, if you have blocks, and especially if you have wrist problems, so you don't need the blocks. I just wanted to show you with the blocks, putting your hands back behind you can really feel like too much pressure on the wrist. So if you have blocks, you keep your elbows a little bit bent and pinned back behind you. And so you can find that same sort of position with the blocks, and it's a little less weight bearing on the wrist. Okay, so I want those hands to rotate as much as you feel comfortable with, okay? And then you're in a reclined position. Your spine is nice and long, okay? And on your inhale, I want you to broaden the chest and sort of think about what we do in cow, okay? And think about squeezing the shoulder blades behind you. This is an external rotator cuff position where your back of your shoulders are really rotating in towards your scapula. Now, on your next exhale, I want you to think about pulling your belly in. So stay with that nice broad chest, but pull your belly in. A lot of times when we open our chest, we overarch through our low back to compensate. Pulling the belly in pulls that low back into a more neutral spine. All right, so this is kind of a nuanced position, but what I want you to feel is the external rotation in your shoulders. I don't want you to be fully weight bearing in your hands. Your belly's pulled in, so you've got a neutral spine. Take a couple of breaths here, trying to maintain that sort of toned belly and external rotation of the shoulders. This is really good for posture. Make sure your shoulders are pulled down the back and they're not shrugging up. All right, come on off of the hands, and we are going to move into table. We are going to do a half kneeling position today. So if you think you might need more cushion under the knees, make sure you set yourself up with the blanket or towel under your knees. And then also, for those of you with wrist issues, blocks are great. And if you don't have blocks, it's fine, but they might be a good prop for you to have. So in tabletop, blocks underneath the forearms is about what you'd have in tabletop. And you would push down into the forearms just as much as the elbows, so you've got a nice firm connection to the ground. And from here, you can do anything you would do in tabletop, right? So these are a lot of options that we kind of use a lot. So if your wrists bother you, blocks are your friend, okay? All right, tabletop. Make sure your hands are underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. I know you know that by now. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Now just find that range of motion slowly through a few breaths. Now stay here, or if you'd like to join me on my forearms and moving through cat-cow on your forearms, and just notice how that changes, right? My chest and shoulders and my thoracic spine can't quite get as involved, but my hips can really start to move through that cat-cow motion. A couple more breaths wherever you are. And then coming to a neutral spine, if you came down onto your forearms, come back onto your hands. Inhale, right arm up, opening up the chest to the right. Exhale, thread the needle, follow with your eyes. We're going to keep this dynamic, but really reach underneath you with that threading. Inhale, look up, reach up, get that chest to open up. Exhale, thread the needle and really reach. You can even lower down like you were going to come down into that stretch. Inhale. And this time we will come down into that stretch. So really take that reach to the left. Let that shoulder temple come down. Try to keep your hips right over your knees, so they have a tendency to kind of sway to the left. Pull them back in space so you can get that stretch across the back and side body. That left hand can stay put. It can also reach out onto the mat in front of you. So something like that. A little bit of pressure through that hand. And if you wanted to try a half bind, you can bring that hand all the way back and reach for that right thigh or hip crease. Again, really keeping those hips kind of actively pushing to the right because they'll want to sway to the left. Wherever you are, taking a couple of nice deep breaths to really settle into the stretch. If your left hand moves from right next to your face on the mat, bring it back. And then on your next inhale, lift up, look up, open up. And then exhale, set the hand down. Switch sides. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, thread the needle. Really reach. Reach as far as you can, lowering down even. And then inhale. Almost each time you thread the needle, you're kind of finding that stretch that we settle in on. Inhale. This time we'll settle in on that stretch. Exhale. Reach. And then lower the shoulder and the temple. And again, just think about what those hips are doing. You want to, most of us will probably want to keep that action of getting the hips to sway to the left because they'll naturally want to go to the right. And you'll feel the stretch change when you do that. And then if you did something else with your right hand on the other side, you might try it out on this side. It doesn't have to be the same thing if it doesn't feel supportive for you. It can always be something different. I like to try them all sometimes. Couple nice deep breaths in this stretch. And then if your right hand had moved away from the mat next to your face, replace it there. And on your next inhale, open up, look up, reach up. And then exhale, both hands to the mat. All right, we're gonna move into bird dogs, but before we do that, I want you to make sure you are set up for it. Bring your shoulders down the back, pull the belly in. This is creating structure so that we can lift a leg and maybe our arm. Let's start with our right leg. Lift it up and back. Right, our belly pulled in is going to help keep our hips square to the mat underneath us. I want you to check in with where you're looking. I want your gaze to be just out in front of your hands on the mat. That's going to create a nice neutral neck. You don't want to crank that neck up or let your head hang. All right, stay here or bring that left arm up. Pull both shoulders down the back. Make sure that belly's pulled in. All right, neutral neck. And then you're actively reaching, through the fingertips and the right heel. 3, 2, 1. Down and push back into child's pose between sides. Just a moment here. Couple breaths. You can even roll out the wrists here if you're feeling them. All right, next inhale. Come on up to table. Make sure you've got proper alignment. Set your stage here by pulling your shoulders down the back, belly's pulled in, left leg lifts behind you. Okay, that belly pulled in. You'll know if you don't have that belly, you'll start to sag through the low back, or you'll open up to compensate. So square the hips, belly pulls in to help support that. All right, stay here, or bring that right arm up, bicep to the ear. Both shoulders, pull them down the back, recommit to that belly pulling in. Find the gazing point that gives you a neutral neck. Breathe. Find as much muscle to bone connection, actively reaching in opposite directions. 3, 2, 1. Release, hand and knee down. Push back into downward not downward facing dog, child's pose. And then you can roll out the wrists here. Maybe pull fingertips back towards the forearms on either side. All right, we're going to come up back into tabletop, and we're going to move between each side of bird dog, not holding so long this time. So choose whether you're going to use the arm or not, okay, because we'll come right into it. All right, inhale right leg and left arm. If you're using it, find your full bird dog, all the parts. Release down, switch sides, lift up, find that structure, lift and reach, bring the hand down. One more time each side. Lift up, pull it in, dial it in, release down, last side, lift up, and replace back down. Okay, I've got a new one for you. Actually, I think most of you have done this just through Cancer WellFit, but it's bear plank. We're not going to hold it too long. If you're like, I'm not going to do that, I don't want to do that right now, it's fine, right? This is stretch flow, and I'm asking you to use your core. What am I doing? If you would like to just do something a little bit more restorative, I'm going to have you stay in tabletop and just find that structure that we talk about in our tabletop, shoulders down, belly in. It's basically what we do in bear plank. If you want to try out bear plank, we won't hold it too long. You're going to tuck your toes in the back. You're going to do all those parts of shoulders down the back, belly pulled in, but then you're going to hover the knees. So now you got to pull the belly in. You got to pull the shoulders down the back. Find a neutral neck. And then release down. And those of you just staying in tabletop, you can kind of let go and do all the things that I tell you not to do. Let's do it again. So if you're staying in tabletop, you're just finding that structure. If you're joining me in bear plank, tucking the toes, shoulders down the back, lift the knees to a hover. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're done with those. All right, right leg extends out back behind you. See if you can sweep it around to the right and get as far as you can, and then do what you need to do to get that right foot on the outside of the right hand. So setting yourself up into a half kneeling position. You'll take your right hand to your right knee so that you can assist yourself coming upright. It's always fine to have something on either side of you if you're feeling wobbly at all. Okay, so left knee is down, right foot is up. Set yourself up here so that you have a square hip, right hip back, left hip forward, tailbone down, belly in. So we're creating that neutral pelvis so that we can be tall through the crown of the head. On your next inhale, sweep your arms up, keep your hips square, but shift your weight forward a little bit. You can decide how much back bend you're gonna come through here. You can come all the way back, or you can stop right over your hips. Exhale down to neutral. We're gonna do that twice more, so you'll get a couple chances to kind of find that. That's okay, Mike, I saw that wobble, that was good. I like it, means you're reaching your edge. And if you are wobbly, keep your eyes forward when you come up. Inhale up. So just keep the eye gaze forward. That'll help sort of dial in the balance a little bit more. And sweep down. Next time we go up, we're going to stay up. Inhale. And then bring your right hand to your right hip and lean to the right overhead. So that left hip's going to push out to the left a little bit. Chest stays up. Belly pulls in. Keep the hips square. Come back up to center. And then on your exhale, you're going to take that left hand, you're going to twist and bring it to the outside of the right hip. The right hand will reach back, and you can either bring it to the left hip, you can bring it just pulling that right elbow back, just finding a twist here. So feel the left hip flexor, so you want to keep that neutral hip, belly pulls in, but now we're getting a twist here. Look over the right shoulder, that might make you feel wobbly. And then inhale yourself back up with your arms. And then left arm comes down to the mat underneath the shoulder, finding a half kneeling low twist. So my arms are teed up. Left shoulder, pull it down the back. And then think about squaring those hips up. So right hip pulls back in space. Left hip pulls forward in space. Next exhale, bring your right hand down to the mat. You might need to heel toe your right foot out, and then pull in the shoulder, pull the shoulders down the back, belly in, and see if you can reverse out of that as we came in. And really, sometimes you got to manually move that foot, and that's all good. Okay. Second side, lift that left leg up. Pull the belly in and the shoulders down the back and swing that left leg out to the left. See how far you can make it. You might come light into the left fingertips and somehow get your foot up there. Left hand to left knee. Come on up. Okay. You do all the things. We're going to square the hip, tail down, belly in. I already feel a nice stretch through that right hip flexor. A little tight and sore today, so this feels really good. All right, inhale. You're going to sweep the arms up, shift the weight forward a little bit, but keep that square hip. Look up if you want. Find as much back bend as you might want. Exhale, come down. If you feel wobbly, keep your eye gaze forward. Inhale. Keep the hips square. Exhale, down. One more, inhale, up. Exhale, down. All right, inhale, up. And then bring the left hand to the left hip. Exhale, side bend here. Be mindful, check in with your shoulders. You know what I'm going to tell you, pull them down the back. Release those upper traps and the base of the skull. Reaching to the left as your right hip reaches to the right. Come back up on your inhale. Exhale, bring that right hand across the body to the outer left knee. So coming into a twist, this half kneeling twist. Your left hand can stay on your left hip. It can reach around to that right thigh. So find your comfort level here, but really create that neutral hip, long spine, shoulders down the back. And then if you're brave enough, change your gaze to behind you. You may be wobbly. Yeah, I saw that, Maureen. It's all good. It's all good. All right, slowly unwinding. Sweep your arms up. And bring your right hand down to the mat underneath your shoulder, finding that half kneeling twist here. The left arm is reaching up. You're kind of coming into that teeing off of the arms. Left hip back, right hip front, shoulders down the back. You choose. Your gaze can be up, can be a little bit more grounding and better on the neck, looking down. All right, slowly bring that left hand down to inside the left foot. Create the structure. Maybe you start by heel toeing that foot out. Maybe you can get it to lift, reach back, and then underneath you. Open up your knees, send your hips back into child's pose. If you do have a block, sometimes putting that block in any position underneath your hips can help just with grounding. You can also put it under your forehead. Maybe round out the wrists. Pull the fingertips back towards the forearm. And coming up through tabletop, and we are going to transition all the way onto our back. So take your time, no rush. All the way down, nice and gently. And then once you're there, take your feet out as wide as your mat and let your knees come together. And if there's another position that's better for you on your back to be able to let go and ground, do that. Okay. So no need to conform to what I'm doing here. I just want you to be able to settle and be grounded. Let your hands rest wherever feels comfortable. Check in with your breath. Right? Notice whether it got shallow or maybe it quickened a little bit, and find that nice, full, even breath we worked on in the beginning of class. You can take a moment here to shut down your eyes if you haven't already. And just taking this next few moments of quiet and breath work, working on staying present, noticing your thinking brain when it turns on and starts taking over, and then just inviting it back to your breath. All right, blinking your eyes open. Hopefully you'll have a strap. Grab that strap. Lots of things work. If you need to grab something quickly, you can, and really you could probably get away without it. Right leg lifts up. You can take the time to put the strap right over the ball of the foot, and then right hand grabs both straps. Left hand can come down to the left hip. Okay, and then you may choose, left leg can stay bent. That's going to be a little bit more grounding. Left leg can extend out. You're going to feel a little bit more sensation with this one. So you make your choice. If you've got your left leg out long, create some engagement through that left leg. All right, on your exhale, you're going to lift your chest towards your knee and pull on the strap so that your leg and knee come towards your head. So you're using your exhale here. Inhale, release. We're going to do that twice more. Exhale, lift towards your knee, pull the knee towards the face. Inhale, release. One more time. Exhale. And inhale. Now, you can stay here. This is probably a great stretch for most of you. Or if you'd like to let your leg fall out to the right, you can kind of feel how that, changes where you feel the stretch. You want to really engage that left side. You can put your left hand on your left hip because you want that left hip to stay grounded. So this isn't, you want your hips to stay on the ground. If you've got pretty good range of motion with that right leg, you can bend the elbow and pull the foot a little bit closer to the head, but really just work on grounding that left hip. Okay, come back up to center if you left that right leg fall. Release the strap. Find half happy baby. So grab the outer edge of that foot, and you might choose to bend your leg here. You can make that choice. And then as you know, if you can't grab the foot, you're grabbing, right? You're grabbing the ankle. You might be pulling in on the knee like so. Okay, so find your version and actively pull that knee to the outer rib cage. Check in with your shoulders and your neck, maybe rocking your head side to side. And then maybe shaking out the jaw. That lower jaw tends to hold some tension. Just shaking it out, letting, just reminding your body to let go there. All right, you're gonna release that foot and bring it to the inner thigh of the left side. So this is a supine tree. So again, both hips are gonna stay grounded. Okay, you probably need to have a little bit core engagement through especially that left side. Okay, as you ground that left side, I want you to think about that right knee being pulled just gently to the ground. Now stay here or inhale your arms up overhead. Keep the belly pulled in so that you don't compensate with this overhead motion through the low back. And then you can find, if going wider with the arms feels better, you can rest those hands very gently on the ground. If you have your arms overhead, slowly sweep them back and down. Use your right hand to help that right knee come back up to center. And we're gonna switch sides. So get your strap. And we're gonna set it up on the left ball of the foot. Ooh, this hamstring is tight, tighter than the right. Okay, so choke up on that strap with your left hand and then choose whether you're gonna keep that knee, that right side bent or extend it long. If you extend it long, just make sure you've got some engagement there. On your exhale, lift your chest, pull on that strap to pull your leg closer. Inhale, release. So finding a little bit of control here through this exhale. Inhale. One more. Using the low belly to help pull that leg forward. And release. And then you're going to let go of that strap. Half happy baby, whatever your version is. Again, knowing that you can always bend that right leg. Find a little bit more grounding here. Wherever you are with this half happy baby, you're pulling that left knee to your left outer rib cage. Check in with your shoulders, maybe rock the head side to side again. And then sort of wiggling out that lower jaw. That can feel really good. I hold a lot of tension in my jaw, so that usually feels like a release. All right. Release that foot to the inner right thigh, finding supine tree. So here, that left knee is going to fall sort of naturally to the left, which is going to want to bring your right hip up. You're going to have to combat that. You want to really kind of engage that right side to keep it anchored. And then just gently pull that knee. Not so it pulls you out of balance, just find that opening up of the hips. And you can stay here, or you can join me in inhaling your arms up overhead, pulling in the low belly a little bit more as you get overhead so that you don't compensate in the low back. If you've got your arms overhead with me, you're going to slowly bring them back. And then you can use that left hand to help that left knee come back up to center. Okay, we're going to do lymphedema right side. So we're switching sides, right leg up. Okay, you're going to use a strap if you need it. We're going to keep it up for a little bit. You can also extend that left leg. You make your choices. Exhale, point the toe. Inhale, flex the foot. So really pull the toes towards the shin. Exhale, point. Really find that point. And then flex. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Exhale. Inhale. Next exhale. Pull the heel in and really kind of tug a little bit in there so you feel the hamstring. Inhale it back up and find that quad, so the kneecap up the leg. Exhale. Pull that heel in gently. It doesn't need to be a lot. And then inhale, straighten, pull the kneecap up so you find that quad engagement. So that engagement of the muscles is what's going to help move fluid through your lower body. You want to find just a little bit of that each end range of motion. Last one here. You're going to hold it up straight, little circles. Pick a direction. They don't need to be big circles. Keep them slow. You guys are so well versed in this. Probably don't even need to talk. Change directions. Come to stillness. Release that foot to the ground. Switch sides. Left leg up, setting yourself up with your strap, choosing whether you want to keep that leg straight or bent. Most of you, I think, will want to keep a bent leg here. Exhale, point. Inhale, flex. Again, just finding that end range, gently finding that end range of motion so that you feel the flex in both the front and the back of the lower leg. Do one more point. And then this time, exhale, knee to glute, pull it in. Inhale, straighten it, kneecap up the leg, find the quad. Just gently there, no need to overpower it, just enough to feel it. Use your breath. And do one more after this. Pausing with your foot over your hip, little circles, choose a direction. Nice and slow, nice and small. Switch directions. Come to stillness. Let that left foot come down to meet the right. Set yourself up. We're just going to do one bridge. I'm going to wrap it up here sometime soon. So one bridge, and I want you to use a pelvic tilt. So remembering that that's pulling the belly in, flattening the low back, scooping the hips up, and then the spine follows. So finding that top of your bridge, your glutes should be squeezing, and then I want you to think about the heels pulled in ever so gently towards the shoulders. Again, you'll kind of feel those hamstrings light up. I want you to create a nice long neck, and then let go of tension in the shoulders and really push your shoulders down into the mat. Okay, I want you to come down in reverse, one vertebrae at a time, getting that low back to touch, and then letting the hips come down. All right, we're going to come into a supine twist. You may choose whether you want sort of a more gentler version, which is keeping your feet together. You'll open up your arms to a T or cactus them if your space is limited. And we'll start to the left. So a more gentler version is just letting your legs come together and dropping your legs to one side. If you've got something underneath or something nearby that you can put under that left knee to help ground it, sometimes that feels really quite nice. You want a little bit more, you'll cross the legs, lift the hips, send that left hip more towards the center of the mat, and then let the knees fall to the left. Either way, you can complete the twist by looking over the right shoulder. Still hang on to that nice, full, intentional breath. Not quite done yet. Stave off that thinking brain. Stay on your mat. This is kind of where discipline comes in sometimes, and just awareness. bring the knees gently through center and move to the other side with your twist in whatever version you're using. Use especially your exhales, release tension in your twist. So you might find as you exhale, you kind of naturally just let go. Bring the knees up to center, uncross them if they're crossed, and then either move straight into Shavasana or take a Supta Baddha Konasana where your knees come together, your knees out wide. If you have blocks, it does feel grounding sometimes to really put them under your thighs here to give yourself that ability to let go. You're welcome to just move straight into Shavasana. Wherever you are though, now is the time that we let go of the breath control and just let whatever natural rhythm take over. Allow your eyes to shut down that visual stimulus. And again, anchor your drishti, your gazing point, to your internal third eye, so right between your eyebrows. And if you could, just think about bringing all of your energy right to the center of your body, pulling it all in, all through the limbs, pulling all your energy right into the center of you. Consolidating your energy and your power right to your middle. Being really aware of letting your body release and succumb to stillness. If you're in Supta Baddha Konasana, you can extend one leg at a time out in front. And taking the time to get the wiggles out and set yourself up. If you have props and you want to add them, do that now. Settling into your Shavasana, letting your feet just flop out wide. Letting your hands sort of open up and your thumbs sort of flopping out wide as well. Let the back of your head be heavy into the mat. And let your shoulders sort of open up and sink into the mat underneath you. And then just feeling your rib cage, your upper rib cage, resting on the mat. The heaviness of your hips. And then feeling the parts of your legs that are resting on the ground, including your heel. And then once again, just visualizing and pulling all of your energy from your limbs into the center of your being, right into your core. Just consolidating it and allowing the rest of you just to let go. Breathe and stay in the moment. ever so slowly. Just beginning your transition out of Shavasana. Take it nice and slow though. Little parts at a time, introducing maybe some movement back in. And maybe a little fuller of a breath. Maybe a full body stretch. Using that inhale to really stretch across the front body. Kind of like you're waking up for the first time today. And then slowly making your way to seated, feeling free to pause in a side lying position just to create that transition from laying to seated. Setting yourself up in a seated position. And once you're there, once you're in that seated position, shut down the eyes again. Bring your hands to heart center. Lift your chest in pride of yourself. And bow your chin in gratitude. Gratitude for being here in this moment. Thank you for sharing your energetic space with me today and with each other. Thank you for showing up on your mat and practicing together. Even though we don't share the same space, I feel each of your energy through our practice together. So thank you. The highest light in me sees, honors, and respects the highest light in each of you. Namaste. Thanks, guys.
Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste. Oh, you're welcome. Stopping that. There we go. All right. Well, good to see all of you. I hope you all have a great Friday.